All right. I think we're live now. Yes, we are. All right, we're live on both platforms. Hello, guys, and welcome. My apologies for the technical difficulties. Clearly, I've not streamed in a really long time, so please forgive me for not streaming or not remembering how to do it. So, of course, as we get going, I just want to say thank you to Watkins Glen International Raceway. Thank you to them for a fun race weekend over at the Glen. And of course, thanks also to many of the drivers, the team owners, Matt Collig especially, and Chris Rice. I want to give him a big shout out. Of course, I don't have the hat with me, but he did sign a hat for me and gave me the hat on his head. So thank you so much, Matt, Chris Rice. I'm sure you're not watching this, but thank you for that. That was honestly the best part of the weekend. And also thanks to all the drivers who signed this. I'm sorry, I have to show this stuff off. So, of course, we got a whole list of signatures right here, including in this corner Matt Collig, a bunch of the Xfinity drivers, a bunch of Cup drivers. They all signed this flag. I actually ran out of room, and this includes Rusty Wallace. Rusty Wallace signed this as well. And then I unfortunately had Eric Jones sign the back. So it kind of was a little bit of a blooper right there. But a fun weekend nonetheless. And I will begin by recapping NASCAR at the Glen. Kyle Larson, we're going to be talking a lot about him this episode. He, of course, is the winner of the NASCAR Xfinity and the NASCAR Cup Series race at the Glen. But we start with the NASCAR Xfinity race where William Byron and Joe Gibbs' grandson Ty Gibbs tangled on the last lap. Of course, as you guys know, coming to 2 to go, or I believe with 1.5 to go, Byron and Gibbs tangled in the bus stop, resulting in both those cars spinning, which allowed Kyle Larson to get the lead coming to the white flag and essentially going on to win the race. Well, it wasn't over between William Byron and Ty Gibbs. Of course, William Byron showed his displeasure coming to the checkers by dumping Ty Gibbs into turn 6, almost got him into the gravel, and of course what ended up being a big opportunity for Ty Gibbs to close up some of the ground on A.J. Allmendinger was not meant to be for that regular season title, and Ty Gibbs is now over 60 points back of A.J. Allmendinger. And again, just bonehead Ty Gibbs making moves that he shouldn't be making. I get going for the win, but again, just boneheaded move. And I'm actually personally glad that Byron did take it to him before the end of the race. I'm glad to see Ty Gibbs admit it was his fault, because it really was his fault. And, you know, I'm glad Byron basically stepped up and said, I'm not taking shit from you, and dumped him right into the corner. I think that was honestly the best move of the race. And of course, again, wasn't the first time that Kyle Larson, A.J. Allmendinger finished 1-2 this weekend. They did so in the Cup race this weekend as well. Of course, Kyle Larson's Xfinity win, his 13th career. Kyle Larson's Cup win, his 18th career win, of course, leading to the sweep of the weekend. But of course, it did not come without some major controversy. Of course, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, they both get together going into one. Chase goes wide and essentially loses not only first and second, but I believe he fell back to as far as 5th place. Of course, I'm sure you've seen all across Twitter the fans hating on Kyle Larson, the fans who loved it. You know, I'm a little upset with Chase Elliott because he's not one of the ones that signed that flag down below. So I'm a little upset with him about that, but I get over it pretty quick. What I will say is what Chase Elliott did, or I'm sorry, what Kyle Larson did. Of course, I can understand Chase's frustration. I want to start out by saying that. I understand where Chase is frustrated. I'm sorry, I just have to check the stream, be sure we don't have any comments. But of course, if you do have any comments on the Chase Elliott, William Byron incident, if you want to call it that, please put it below. Of course, what I will say is I understand why Chase was upset in that moment. I understand the frustration being that it's the second time those two have gotten together this season. Of course, Auto Club earlier this year. That was all Kyle Larson right there. He doored Chase Elliott and ended his race. And he was stronger than Larson there. And then Larson's second win of the year, same thing, doored, and Chase was the better car. It's been no secret this year that Chase has been better than Kyle Larson all around. I will say, I understand Chase's frustration in the moment, but it's time to be a teammate. It's time to, I'm in between whether you've got to just let it go and just, move on. And I'm also between the fact that you can't be a doormat. And we know for a fact Chase Elliott is no doormat when it comes to dealing with driver altercations. Of course, I go back to Denny Hamlin. I go back to the Kevin Harvick incident. There's no doubt Chase is not a doormat, and he will get even with those drivers that wrong him. This is such a different situation where it's a teammate. That's where the situation differs this time, because you've got team morale to think about. You've got to think championship now with 11 races to go. I don't expect it to be anything remotely close to what we saw as far as the Chase versus Harvick, Chase versus Hamlin. I don't think we'll see anywhere in the vicinity of that. I feel like what's over and done, or I think it's over and done. But what I think we could see in these last 11 weeks is Chase make it harder for Kyle Larson to win. Chase probably won't give as much room going forward. That I can see as a real possibility, and I could see it being a reality in a way that he is going to race his teammate the way he raced him. I don't think he's going to wreck him, but I certainly think, he's going to make it difficult on him. The difference here, and the other reason I'm saying I don't want Chase to get fully even, just make it more difficult. Okay, but here's why I'm saying it. Again, it's a teammate. You locked up everything you can possibly lock up at Watkins Glen. The regular season title, you're going to be the number 1 seed. You don't need to go out there and waste your time getting even with them. Okay, you've got an advantage. You've been the best car all year. No one's even come remotely close to touching you in terms of the win column, in terms of the playoff point column. No one's come close to you this year. So, with everything balanced out, I would say there's really no concern. If anything, my opinion is if Chase feels the need to get even and Chase feels the need to move his teammate, I would think strongly about it. If anything, my advice would be make it to Phoenix and take it to him there. Go win the championship. Okay? You want the ultimate sign of revenge? Go win the championship. Okay, that's revenge best served in my eyes. Just go win the title. Don't worry about wrecking him at Bristol. Don't worry about wrecking him at the Roval. And especially don't worry about wrecking him at Martinsville to knock him out. No. I mean, let him get to Phoenix. Make his life difficult these last 11 weeks, but win a championship. Okay? That's the revenge you can have. Okay? Maybe, maybe he'll door him at Phoenix to win the title. I don't know. But best revenge, go out there, win a title. That's my advice. That's my opinion. And that's the way I feel is the best way to get even with a teammate. Anyway, moving on to the IndyCar at Gateway. Joseph Newgarden is the winner, of course, but his win was not as impressive as who finished in second. It is Dale Coyne Racing's David Malukas who impressed and got his first podium of the season, his first of his career as well. Newgarden, though, 24th career win. And honestly, this race, despite the rain delay, I got back with about 43 to go after the NASCAR Xfinity race that I was at. But the end of the race was fun to watch. I think if David Malukas just had maybe 10 more laps, he was better than Newgarden. He was faster. He was on better tires. I think we would be talking about David Malukas winning his first career race at Gateway if we had 10 more laps. But again, watching Malukas make those passes to the outside, I was trying to sleep in the hotel, and I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, he's making the move. And man, he put me through a wide range of emotions. I was rooting him on. Fun race to watch it again. I know people hate on Gateway, but I will tell you, for being a difficult place to pass, but that's short track racing. Okay, that's how short tracks go. And honestly, this is why Gateway, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, Gateway is the second best oval on the schedule behind Indianapolis. Okay, it's untouchable, it's a great race, and I think this race proved it as well. Especially at night, this race is so much better. So there we go. That's my view on that. That's my recap of the weekend. Let's move on. After we check the comments, there are none. Let's move on to the racing news. And of course, we have another fake news story. If you ever just want to know what's going on with the off season, follow Bob Pockris. And by the way, a shout out to Bob Pockris as well. Of course, I got the chance to meet him as well on Saturday. Got to talk to him a little bit and talk to him for a bit on Sunday. I didn't get to meet Jeff Gluck, though. I was too focused on meeting Ross Chastain. But anyway, I can sit here for the whole half hour and just talk about who I met at Watkins Glen, talk about the stories and everything that happened there. But I feel like there's more important stories than me just digressing on everything that happened there. If you guys want to know, I'll text it to you. I'll message it to you on the Discord, what I thought in more detail. But again, we have a half hour, so let's get right to the stories. Motorsport.com had announced Eric Almirola will return to the Smithfield Ford at Stewart-Haas Racing for 2023. Adam Stern then confirmed it. Normally, Adam Stern, very accurate. When he says something's going to happen, it's usually true. Not this time. Eric Almirola came out on Saturday and said, I have not announced that I'm returning yet. I still haven't even made a decision if I'm going to return or not. So this is what he said to Bob. That is what he said to Bob Pockris. I think signs are leaning toward Almirola is going to return. I do think Motorsport.com was on to something, but I do think they were wrong in this instance. They were wrong. That's all I'm going to say. They got it wrong. Take the L until it's correct. Smithfield's too valuable to Stewart-Haas Racing to lose. I know Kyle Busch is out there. Kyle Busch is available. But again, Eric Almirola and his sponsorship too valuable to lose, and it looks like it's a tough sell to replace that sponsorship as well with a new driver, whether that be Ryan Preece or Kyle Busch. So again, I think it'll be Almirola returning. We know Cole Custer will be back with the team next year, despite everyone's beliefs on him. So it looks like Kyle Busch might not have a ride at Stewart-Haas Racing. But I can tell you the other 3 teams that are interested in him, and this is according to Adam Stern as well. There are 4 teams that are actively pursuing Kyle Busch for NASCAR Cup Series rides, 2311 being one of them. Of course, the Toyota Camp, Colleague Racing is the other, and RCR, as well as the aforementioned Stewart-Haas Racing. Here's the big thing to keep in mind as well. Colleague Racing has not fully discussed their 2023 plans. They have not confirmed them yet, but it is heavily speculated that they are seeking a 3rd charter for the 2023 season, which means they would become a 3-car NASCAR Cup team, and then there's a possibility they will decrease their Xfinity program to a 2-car program, which I imagine will be just Hemrick and Allmendinger for next year. Of course, 2311 is also looking at a 3rd charter. It is something Denny Hamlin has stressed he would like to do, is have a 3rd car in the field. So we might not see the end of Kyle Busch in a Toyota. And then, of course, Colleague Racing has also announced they are looking to expand into other series. They are looking at IMSA, they are looking at the Truck Series, and I believe they are looking at Dirt Series as well. Kyle Busch basically all but confirmed as well this weekend that big changes are coming, he confirmed that big changes are coming, which we would automatically assume that means he's not returning to Joe Gibbs Racing. So, out of all these teams, I think it's likely it's going to be Colleague. I don't see any way around it at this point. Colleague wants to go 2 cars full-time with 2 full-time drivers. I don't see them getting rid of Justin Haley. They are especially not getting rid of AJ Allmendinger. I think Allmendinger's at Colleague until he decides to leave on his own terms. So, needless to say, Kyle Busch, I think, will just become the 2nd full-time Cup driver, and they will acquire a charter from Spire Motorsports to field a 3rd car. So, that's what I see happening. I think 2311 is probably the least likely. RCR, I think, is 2nd most likely, only because we know what's going on with Tyler Reddick right now, and RCR and kind of that relationship being as fractured as it is. So I would imagine that is not going to be a likely scenario. This weekend was also the debut of Project 91 for Trackhouse Racing. And of course, the initial plan, they were going to run Watkins Glen with Kimi Räikkönen, who of course wrecked out of the race. But then the plan was in 2023, they will run 6 Cup Series races. That has now changed. Okay, Trackhouse will now expand from 6 to 8 races for 2023. And of course, I think this automatically confirms... Actually, let me backtrack. That does not confirm, but I think it increases the big speculation that Elio Castroneves will be driving in the Daytona 500. Because the way I view it, I think the 6 races next year were going to be the road course races. They said they wanted to expand from 6 to 8. We know Jimmy Johnson is looking into running the Indy NASCAR double next year. So, that would require a 7th race. We also know the GM of SRX is looking to get Elio Castroneves into the Daytona 500 to add his name into the history books if he goes on to win. That would involve an 8th race and the most expensive race on the schedule. But I digress from that. I think that further fuels the speculation, and I think that makes a really terribly kept secret that we will see Elio Castroneves in the Daytona 500, and we will see Jimmy Johnson in the Coca-Cola 600 for one final ride. I see that now being a real possibility. I would see potentially Kimi Räikkönen returning for another road course. Maybe Daniel Ricciardo. I mentioned Scott Dixon. Another name that's now floating around is Marcus Ericsson. Marcus Ericsson has confirmed on Twitter he has a little bit of interest in running a NASCAR Cup Series event on a road course. So, again, so many names that are floating around that could fill those 8 races. And again, I think 2 of them are confirmed but not confirmed at the same time. And I feel like, there are just so many names now that could fill out the 6 road course races for the season. All right, on to the picks we go. NASCAR Xfinity Series at Daytona. I'm going to pick Austin Hill. He's been so strong on the super speedways this year. I don't see any change in that. Cup Series at Daytona. I'm going to pick Bubba Wallace. I think he will become the 16th different winner. He will be the last guy to lock into the playoffs. I also want to highlight Justin Haley. I feel like Justin Haley has a really strong shot this weekend as well. And keep in mind, if any of those guys need to win to get in, whereas the race will be mainly between Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex to ensure that there's no 16th different winner, and one of those 2 gets to the playoffs. So I think this is going to be one of the wildest Daytona races we have seen in a really long time. We will, of course, be back next week to recap it. And this time we will be on time. All right, that's our show. But before we go, of course, a programming note. Nothing about this show. Don't worry. No more weeks off until the end of the season, unless otherwise noted. But none in the near future that I see. So Sunday Morning Tinkle, as you guys know, has been on hiatus since the beginning of July, or since the middle of July, rather. Sunday Morning Tinkle will be returning, and I can now confirm it will be this Sunday, August 28th, 9 a.m. Eastern. It'll be on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, our normal platforms. Jason and I will be back this Sunday to recap the NFL preseason. We'll also have a lot of other news to share as well. So please be sure to stay tuned for that. And of course, be sure to join our fantasy football league. We need 2 more teams. That's all we need, 2 teams in order to draft. Otherwise, we might have to scrap the league altogether. I don't want to do it, but I don't want to do 8 teams. So please be sure to sign up. That's all I ask. And of course, if we do get enough teams, we will on Sunday. We will be live streaming the draft here on YouTube and Facebook Watch. So be sure to tune in. I will get you the times on Sunday, assuming that we get enough teams. Anyway, so again, Sunday Morning Tinkle, though, is a confirmed. It will be back this Sunday. Be sure to tune in at 9 a.m. Eastern. Jason and I will be here. Of course, be sure to tune in to No Final Bell. That'll be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Facebook Watch. And until next time, guys,